DLC 2 dropped this past Tuesday, and with it also a new update to the base game with a host of fixes and changes seemingly for the better. So let's jump right in. Premise-wise, DLC 2 is centered around the joint operations between the LSPD and the Coastal Offshore Air and Sea Team, also known as the Coast. Getting into the gear right off the bat, the theme for DLC 2 is 90s SEALs in their visit board search and seizure era. First and foremost, we have a new helmet which appears to be a ProTech water sport full cut. These are specifically designed to protect the user's noggin in nautical? Whatever, water-like environments, you get the picture. These were actually used by the SEALs for a while during the early to mid 1990s, so it's pretty interesting to see them in a modern setting like Ready or Not. Next is a new ACH full cut style helmet from MSA, which looks like a Galley TC800. This bucket is wide as all get out, but provides that extra ear protection for glancing blows to the ears. The DLC also provides us with two new chest pieces, the first being the Ellis 911, which is inspired by its real life counterpart, the Spiritus LV119. While this is pretty cool, I'm hoping for a more granular customization in the future, as the slick look on this looks a tad bit dorky with no mag pouches or anything. The second is a new ballistic vest called the TP1E Carrier, which carries the same name as its IRL counterpart. Again, this really leans into the 90s VBSS look. This also comes with variations, so you can choose to have different mag carriers on the chest rig. As far as cosmetic drip, we got the Phoenix flight suit, Phoenix gloves, and Panama boots to round out the 90s SEAL team look. Additionally, we got the Atlas Pro top and bottom, some snazzy Oakley Factory Pilot Gloves 2.0, and some Salomon 4D GTX boots. DLC owners will also get 3 new tattoos they can put on their operator, those being Oil Veil, Tentacles Embrace, and Tiki Fury. For animations, it seems that the retreat, rally, and regroup animations we were shown in a dev blog are only available in the Dark Waters maps. Likely, this is to test out the functionality and see how players like it in a more controlled environment, but I hope this gets released to a standard edition as it seems a bit odd to restrict it forever. Now, on to the maps. On all 3 maps, we get the help of the Coast Team's UH-60 Blackhawk for over-the-air callouts and the thermal imaging from the helicopter's camera pod. As we found out on stream, if you shoot this helicopter, it eventually leaves the map and your team turns on you for doing so, which is a solid little detail to add in here. You shoot the heli down. That's a fantastic question. Not a question I know the answer to, but we can absolutely try to find out. I hear it. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's funny. Are they gonna kill me? Wait. Dude, the order is to kill me. Starting with the yacht map, it's a solid introduction to the series for sure. I'll just say outright, this will likely be a bit more fun to play with others than with the SWAT AI right now, considering how much CQB there is in the cabins. Playing with the SWAT AI on this one feels super claustrophobic, so again, probably better to play with real people here. Otherwise, there is a ton of good attention to detail here. The whole ship really feels, for lack of a better term, lived in. I like the layout overall, and it has some aspects that are definitely challenging, but in a way that I find quite enjoyable. In this one, we are attempting to rescue hostages from a terrorist group, likely attempting to traffic the females on board. Next, taking a look at the oil rig map, Void has taken a different approach to Ground Branch on this one and made this a much more manageable task. The rig appears big, but overall can be taken in bite-sized chunks. I like the implementation of some small room CQB with short to mid-range engagements that make the player feel powerful, but also prevents them from running and gunning too much. And in this one, we face off the Tree Huggers, aka the United Planet Front, who we originally saw in the Lawmaker map. Holy cow, dude, this last map really surprised me. This is the unfinished hotel called the Elysian. Inside it, we find 2 rival gangs duking it out in a suspected deal gone bad. This whole map includes a litany of narrow corridors, fatal funnels, and tons of open areas to navigate. Honestly, this is quite possibly my favorite map of the bunch. It also includes some pretty interesting lore that references the Sepulchre ARG. Overall, these maps are solid, great quality, and enjoyable to clear. I've seen some people griping about the maps or that there are only 3 of them. Honestly, with the scale that all of these were made to be, the maps alone are worth the $10 price tag. Yes, for sure, it'd be unlikely that 5 SWAT officers would handle stuff like an oil rig boarding, but suspension of disbelief is kinda required when playing most maps in Ready or Not anyway. So overall, as the DLC goes, I'd rate it a solid 9.2 out of 10, especially at that $10 price point. Now let's move on to the update. The PD has gotten another coat of paint for this one. Instead of being flooded with water, it's flooded with flags instead. Lore-wise, this is because the PD was the place that politician Andrew Whitfield held a speech, at which point an attempted assassination against him took place. The bottom garage has also been updated to include a Coast service member providing a lesson on the Zodiac boat to LSPD officers. The posters strewn throughout the rest of the PD further explain the relationship between the Coast team and LSPD. Players will also notice quite a few new barks and interactions between police AI throughout the PD. For this one, I heavily just recommend going through the PD yourself to hear all the unique dialogue that there is. There have been a lot of new changes to the static baked lighting throughout the PD too, which has made it feel pretty moody. I will say one slight annoyance is that everywhere, and I mean everywhere you go as far as maps are concerned, including the PD, there is an incessant amount of fog, so also, I guess Void has been sponsored by Logitech now because G-mouses and headsets are scattered everywhere. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into the weapons for this update, and just a reminder, weapons are included in the standard edition of Ready or Not. Everything I talk about hereafter is included in the base game unless I specify otherwise. As we get the infallible H&K MP5 SD6, which looks pretty as ever. In-game, it feels pretty solid with steady follow-up shots, but it just doesn't pack a huge punch to armor as expected with that smaller round size. Still, I always love the look of this thing, and it's just a fun gun to use for sure. We got a Scar H baby!
I love these things, and it comes with the UGG boot and all. Using this in-game is intense. It puts holes in things pretty easy. It's basically a 2-tap even if the suspect has armor. It does kick quite a bit, so those of you Warzone gamers will get some reps in dragging the mouse down with rapid fire. What does this even mean?
This next one I know gun nerds are gonna hate, but ever since I was a kid, I have absolutely loved the look of the M14. No, IRL, this thing does not perform great, but when used in-game, it's an absolute beast. One shot to the chest is generally all it takes to put someone down. It feels good, sounds great, and overall is probably going to be my go-to weapon for a while. H&K is getting some real product placement in this DLC as we are getting the HK51 as well as the G3. The 51 feels pretty good, but it's just not my favorite due to its slightly unpredictable recoil pattern. It, like the Scar, will put holes in people, especially at close range, so it's very much a viable weapon against armor. As far as the G3 goes, I was honestly surprised by it. Full auto on the G3 feels like you're shooting 5.56. Seriously, this thing slaps. I would highly recommend using it, especially on armored targets, as it puts them away crazy fast. All of the models here look great and are super well detailed. It's obvious that the modeling team paid great attention to detail here, and I applaud them for their efforts. We are also getting 3 new sights to aim through for all of these bad boys, that being the Aim Pro XE sight and 510C optic, which are solid additions overall. My favorite thus far has been the XE, it just feels right for me. I also like the iron sights you can switch to on it. On top of that, we are also getting 2 new grips, that being the TH grip and the side angle grip. Not much to be said, other than that the side angle grip bugs out sometimes and you end up holding the weapon by the barrel instead. So let's talk about some animations. There are a couple new hesitation animations that we see in the suspect AI which look pretty decent. This also includes a new compliance/fake compliance animation that we will get into later for obvious reasons. Also, we finally got arrest canceling. Holy cow, it feels like it's been years of asking for this. Now I can finally not die when trying to arrest some dude while getting blown to bits by a saw. In the DLC, there are also new loading animations for the Dark Waters missions. Snazzy, nothing too out of this world, and a bit jank, but hey, still cool. Now let's talk about my favorite subject here, the AI. In my opinion, both SWAT and suspect AI alike have improved quite a bit. There's a little less hand-holding with the SWAT AI when it comes to bagging and tagging suspects and weapons. They tend to pay more attention to open areas and doorways, but I will say their accuracy seems a slight bit diminished. I've seen them taking shots at 15 feet away and miss for a solid 4 to 5 shots in a row, and this is especially bad with less lethals like the beanbag shotgun. Something I'll mention later is the overpenetration issue. It seems like this has persisted even through to this update, which kinda irks me. Again, I'll go more into detail on this later on. As I talked about in my last video, we got AI nameplates and glow stick red and blue IFF. This is so solid for me as a HUD-less player. Being able to determine on the fly who I do and don't have with me, super helpful. Plus, in multiplayer, we're able to see our own name tags, so that's pretty cool. The suspect AI are now pretty kitted as far as weapon selection goes. They also now take after the SWAT AI and being a bit more intelligent whenever they're out of primary ammo to switch over to their sidearm. On the DLC 2 maps, the suspect AI can actually go to specific caches to load up on ammo and firearms. During those missions, you can secure these to prevent the AI from replenishing ammo or getting new weapons. Now, this one is by far one of the best quality of life improvements I've seen thus far. We got a new talk voiceover, and man, it is such an upgrade. I think the older one was a bit too theatrical, whereas the new talk sounds like an actual officer inside the talk. It's gritty and real, and I just genuinely like it a lot. Give this a listen.
We're not looking for body bags. Maintain use of force.
Lead to talk. Civilian is dead.
This is talk. Proceed with mission.
Now, Void have also gone through and added in a variety of missing dialogue for officers throughout the game, which I can attest to. I've heard various barks that sounded unique to me, which that variety can really help with the immersion overall. Now, getting into a gameplay improvement here, Void have taken the NVGs to the next level by adding in realistic effects for GP NVGs and standard dual tubes. They added periphery vision past the tubes, which is nice, but I would like it to not color grade that periphery area, as that should still have color and light bleeding through. It shouldn't just be black or desaturated. Overall gameplay feels super smooth. I really love the way everything feels. I still question the veracity of calling the 1.0 version the 1.0 version, seeing everything that Void can and have done here in this update. Maybe that's just me. There are a ton of fixes to go through here, so I'll put on the screen here the ones I personally find the most interesting and improving overall. Additionally, they have fixed a ton of stuff within the replay viewer, and it works so much better now. Legitimately, the replay viewer really made me pretty mad before, but now it's actually decently usable. As per usual, I have some suggestions and notable bugs I saw while playing, but these are the things that I've seen at the time of recording, so by the time you see it, these might have already been fixed in the game. Now, this one might have not been taken care of. We still have no taser flop. People still don't fall over when tased, and that just annoys me a little bit. Also, the taser prongs are still more elastic than spider silk and are not maintained if the prongs stick inside of the suspect. I don't know, man, just change the despawn delay of the tasers to be never, their elasticity after collision to be fragile, and the AI that gets hit with the prongs to become rigid or start a tased animation that leads them to falling. Mark my words, the day I get this is the day I cry. As I kind of mentioned before, I'm still encountering issues where the AI overpenetrates, to the degree that they move way past just clearing the room that I'm in and straight through to the other side of life because they push past all cover and concealment. I get that they're trying to take over menial tasks for the player, especially clearing out smaller rooms, but it's a problem whenever they go into a room with like 5 dudes ready to murk them at a moment's notice. And then, I die in practice mode and I hit spectate and I watch these dudes clear it out way better than I could ever. Just not sure what's going on there. Also, in S rank attempts, I'm still encountering an issue that if I give the friendly AI only primary ammo for the less lethal shotgun, they still find a way to pick some 9mm off the ground and throw them into their secondaries. Where am I getting shot from? No, don't shoot him, don't shoot him. The easy fix for this, allow there to be a no secondary option. This completely removes the possibility of this happening at all. Here's the thing, as far as the new hesitation animation goes, I think the pacing on them is solid and interesting, but when paired with rifles, it makes for a shoot scenario almost every single time. Yeah, I get it, we can gamify this and know that they aren't going to cancel out of that animation until it gets lower, but in real life, especially in a SWAT scenario, any barrel that's above 60 to 70 degrees pointed in my direction is an easy shoot scenario. If Void wants to keep this in, maybe modify the animation so the gun isn't pointed as directly at the player as it currently is. Either that, or keep the animation and add a different one and set it to where it's aimed lower. Another overall fix for the player ROE is to maybe add a cone around the suspect's weapon, and if that cone intersects with the player's body, you get a good shoot. Because this gets an immediate sent to the next life card for me. It's a very strange bug here, I don't know what's going on, but every single time I turn on a flashlight for the first time, it just flashbangs me. Also, I noticed that in some of the Dark Waters briefings, they have some misspellings and missing data. Another small bug also pointed out on Reddit was that Judge's head clips right through the Protec helmet. So, you know, I know that seems small, but at the same time, it's like, okay, during the entirety of Void testing this out and putting the Protec helmet on Judge's head, did they not go, huh, that helmet there clips right through his top of his cabeza. Maybe we should do something about that. So anyway, overall, this has been a solid DLC and a decent enough update. I want to give credit where credit is due. I know Void has been hard at work getting this out, and I hope that through some patches and hotfixes, they can fix some of the issues that I'm seeing at this point in time. By the way, I am doing a DLC 2 giveaway for you folks that have stuck to the end, so if you want it, all you gotta do is subscribe and comment your favorite map in Ready or Not. The winner will be chosen randomly. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And as always, remember our sole objectives. Stop the killing, stop the dying. I'll see y'all later.